Hi, welcome back to day 2. This is Ponny. So today we will talk about what to do if you know what you don't want, but you're not sure about what exactly that you want. Before we start, have you taken the Career Purpose Profile quiz that I told you yesterday? If not, go back to day 1, take the quiz, read the report, and come back here. Because we're going to dive a little bit deeper on each profile today to help you find what exactly that you want in your career. So what's your profile? And when you read through the report, do you get some aha moments, or at least some reconfirmation about why a certain career in the past doesn't work for you? It can work for someone else, but it just doesn't work for you. Because it's talking about matching, right? So for example, what you need the most from work, if you are an individualist, is autonomy. So if you had a supervisor who constantly micromanaging you, of course, you will hate that job, right? Because you just doesn't suit that kind of management style. And if you are a creator, then you need a space for you to have the creative flow while at work. So you might probably be very prompt and being drawn to being self-employed or starting your own business. But then after that, you might realize that you need more discipline than you thought. If you are an altruist, you are a natural giver. You want to feel loved. You want to feel appreciated. You want to feel admiration from others at work. So when you can't feel that emotions at work, you kind of feel a disconnection between your work and your fulfillment. Now, what if you are an influencer? So what you need most at work is the feeling of significance. You need to feel you are empowered. You want to bring change to others. And because you're a natural leader, you don't feel that kind of leadership in how you bring change in your work, then you feel you're not significant, you're not useful at work. Which also explains a lot of influencers, when they are just starting out in their career, they have a lot of struggle. But when they get through that, you will be all right. So for perfecters, as the name, then you are a perfectionist by nature. So you focus on the quality, not quantity. You're a natural specialist, and you love to dive really deep into one thing to improve the process. You love systems, and it's the best for you when your work allows you to keep going deep into the improvement of the quality. Now the last type is called free spirit, and what you need most from work is actually alternative freedom, meaning what you can exchange for from what you do. Now, if you are a free spirit, then you have no challenge in separating work and life, because ultimately you just use work to accumulate resources so that you can use the resources to exchange for your alternative freedom. And a lot of free spirit actually want to separate their passion with the job to exchange for money, because they don't want to mix them together. And it's perfectly okay, because ultimately, when we know more about ourselves and what makes us happy, you can then find solutions and make choices that aligns with who we are, so that we can be happier in our every single day. So now you have a grasp of your career purpose profile. Then how can we dive deeper into finding what exactly that you want from a fulfilling career? It comes down to the idea of ikigai. which is the combination or the sweet spot that is the intersection between your strengths, your passions, your missions, and what you get paid for. So let's explain each of this one by one. And we can talk about strengths first. So finding our strength is like finding what we were designed for. So for example, you won't expect a fish to be really good at climbing trees, or you won't be expecting a monkey to be very good at swimming, right? So finding our strength is like finding who we were designed for when we were born. So every one of us would have our natural talents. And when we're talking about strengths, many people would confuse between strengths and skills. So let me give you my definition on that. Skills is something that you are good at, whether it's something that you're naturally good at or you acquire through practice and proper training. And a strength is what actually strengthens you and energizes you while you are doing it. Again, a strength is something that energizes you and strengthens you while you are doing that, which means a strength is something that you not only good at doing that, you also enjoy doing that. Okay, so some of the skills might fall into the strengths part and also falls into the skills part, but it's not necessarily for that to happen. So for example, I am very good at using Excel spreadsheet, but it's just a skill. I don't like it. So it's not a strength. And my strength is in writing. I love writing when I was really young, and I actually won some writing competition when I was in school. So I consider writing one of my top strengths. So try to plot a chart and see what are your strengths and what are your skills. Now, I often get asked by people who tell me that, oh, Ponny, I cannot think of any strengths I have, but I have a lot of weaknesses. If that is you, then let me give you one suggestion. Now, I see our abilities as neutral. And actually, strengths and weaknesses is just the two sides of the same coin. Now, for example, if you are the kind of person who tend to worry a lot, it actually means that you have a very strong imagination power because you actively create movies of the worst case scenario in your head and infuse yourself in the emotions so that you are scaring yourself off every moment when you are worrying. So it's a habit of worrying in the worst case scenario. So can you switch that worst case scenario into something more humorous, something more positive, and something more hopeful? So if you're utilizing your imagination power, which empowers yourself, then it becomes a strength, not weakness. A second example is that someone told me they are a world-class procrastinator, meaning they can put off whatever they want to do with excuses, and they can always find excuses not to do something, which means they're actually a very supportive person because they can find proof in whatever situation. And if you put it in a good way, then it could become your optimism, because even in the worst situation, you can find proof that things are improving, things are getting better every day. So it can be optimism when you utilize the same ability in a way that is supportive. to how you live your lives. So that's how we find our strengths, which are what strengthens and energizes us. Then we'll move on to talk about passions. Passions are topics that we are intensely curious about. You will be fascinated into the topics to spend hours and hours into learning more about it and to do something related to that. And it is also the topics that we can share and talk about for hours without losing things to say. Our passion is also the thing that we're willing to do and spend time in doing that without getting financial rewards. So what are you passionate about? It could be many, and the exercise that I always recommend to others is to do a brain dump, which means you take a piece of paper and you write down every single topic you can think of that you are passionate about. And then use a color pen to categorize them into groups, into smaller groups, and then try to find the common pattern behind all those passion and interests, and to dig a little bit deeper about why they interest you in the first place. It could become a mind map, or you could use another paper to draw a very different pattern of correlation between each and single hobbies and interests and passions. And you may find that there's really a common thread underneath all your interests. For example, you could be interested in beauty, in fashion design, or in interior decoration. And the underneath of that is that you appreciate the beauty in things. You also appreciate the details about the delicate details in life. So it could mean different things for everybody, but the key is to find out what is underneath all of this passion. And then from there, you would have the keywords for you in moving forward to find out what is it about in this passion that fascinates me the most. Below this video, I'm also giving you a workbook, which I'm giving you more question prompts for you to reflect on that. So that's about passion. Now, missions. So some people call that our calling or our purpose, but I would define mission as what the world needs that we deeply care about. So usually it could be a mixture of both hope and pain emotionally. So ask yourself, what problems are you naturally drawn to solving? And what pain that you have witnessed or you have personally experienced that you want to make a change about it so that the other people would not need to suffer as you did? And what kind of legacy you want to leave after you leave the world? So these are the deep questions for us to reflect on what our mission is all about. So now we know our strengths, our passions, and our missions. And the sweet spots that it's the intersection between all three of them will help us define what kind of career will make us feel fulfilled and satisfied. So I've summarized the exercises and my question prompts into the workbook below. So take your time, do the exercise, and to clarify what exactly that you want from the career. And I'll see you tomorrow.